Zara, a 19-year-old beautiful and ambitious girl, lives with her family in the vibrant city of Benin. Despite financial struggles, Zara dreams of becoming a nurse to support her family. She is deeply religious and finds solace in her local church, where Reverend Father Emmanuel, a charismatic and respected figure, serves as the spiritual leader. Zara's faith is unwavering, and her devotion to the church becomes a defining part of her identity. One Sunday, Zara volunteers to clean the church after service, catching the attention of Father Emmanuel. His kind demeanor and fatherly encouragement inspire her, and she begins to view him as a mentor. However, beneath his pious exterior, Father Emmanuel harbors a darker side that will soon come to light. As weeks pass, Father Emmanuel grows closer to Zara, praising her dedication and offering personal mentorship. He provides her with books, listens to her aspirations, and prays for her success. Zara feels honored by his attention and confides in him about her family's struggles and her fears about the future. Father Emmanuel invites Zara to spend more time at the church, offering her small jobs to earn money. She eagerly accepts, seeing him as a blessing in her life. Yet, his lingering gazes and subtle touches go unnoticed by Zara, who views him with complete trust. One evening, Zara stays late at the church to finish cleaning. Father Emmanuel offers her a drink, which she reluctantly accepts. The drink makes her drowsy, and she begins to feel uneasy. Sensing her discomfort, Father Emmanuel apologizes, blaming the long day for his overfamiliarity. Zara dismisses her unease, chalking it up to her imagination. Unbeknownst to her, this moment marks the beginning of a sinister pattern. Father Emmanuel's actions grow bolder, though carefully veiled under the guise of spiritual guidance. Father Emmanuel begins assigning Zara tasks that require her to be alone with him in the church. One evening, as they discuss her future, he places a hand on her shoulder, holding it longer than necessary. Zara, uncomfortable but unsure, decides not to question it. She convinces herself that she is overthinking. At home, her mother notices Zara's withdrawn behavior and asks if something is wrong. Zara brushes it off, determined not to tarnish the image of a man she believes is a representative of God. However, a gnawing feeling of unease lingers in her heart. During a Sunday service, Father Emmanuel announces a special vigil for young adults. Zara feels privileged when he personally asks her to help organize the event. She sees this as an opportunity to deepen her faith and strengthen her bond with the church community. On the night of the vigil, Father Emmanuel praises Zara's dedication in front of everyone, calling her a role model. But as the event concludes and the attendees leave, he asks Zara to stay behind to help lock up. Alone in the dimly lit church, Zara feels an unexplainable tension. As Zara gathers her belongings, Father Emmanuel begins asking personal questions about her relationships and her view of love. He then shifts the conversation, suggesting that she needs spiritual cleansing to rid herself of negative energies. Before she can respond, he insists they pray together at the altar. During the prayer, Father Emmanuel's touch becomes invasive. Zara freezes, unsure of how to react. He assures her it's part of the ritual, but she knows something is wrong. She rushes out of the church, her mind racing. For the first time, doubt creeps into her heart about the man she once revered. Haunted by the experience, Zara avoids the church for a week. Her absence doesn't go unnoticed, and Father Emmanuel visits her home under the guise of concern. Her mother welcomes him warmly, unaware of Zara's inner turmoil. Zara forces a smile, but her discomfort grows as Father Emmanuel insists she return to the church. That night, Zara confides in her best friend, Amaka, about her unease. Amaka, shocked, urges Zara to stay away from Father Emmanuel. But Zara, torn between her faith and her instincts, is hesitant to take action. Father Emmanuel begins manipulating Zara emotionally, reminding her of all the help he has given her family. He subtly implies that rejecting his guidance would be ungrateful. Zara feels trapped, unable to confide in her family without causing scandal. During a late-night call, Father Emmanuel invites Zara to a private prayer session, promising it will help her overcome her doubts. Reluctantly, she agrees, hoping to resolve the tension. The prayer session takes a dark turn when Father Emmanuel locks the church doors and reveals his true intentions. He coerces Zara into a vulnerable position, exploiting her trust and innocence. The sacred space becomes a prison for Zara as she experiences the ultimate betrayal. Afterward, Father Emmanuel manipulates her into silence, warning her that no one will believe her story. Broken and ashamed, Zara leaves the church, vowing never to return. Zara's world crumbles as she grapples with the trauma. She avoids everyone, including her family, and begins questioning her faith. The once vibrant girl becomes a shadow of herself, consumed by guilt and fear. Amaka notices the drastic change in Zara and presses her for the truth. After much hesitation, Zara reveals everything. Amaka is horrified and vows to help Zara seek justice, but Zara is too afraid of the consequences. Rumors begin circulating about Father Emmanuel's inappropriate behavior with other girls in the church. Zara overhears these whispers and realizes she might not be his only victim. This revelation ignites a spark of courage within her. With Amaka's encouragement, Zara starts documenting her experiences, determined to expose the truth when the time is right. Amaka arranges a secret meeting with other young women from the church. To Zara's shock, several of them share similar stories about Father Emmanuel's predatory behavior. United by their shared pain, the group decides to confront him. During a Sunday service, Zara stands up and accuses Father Emmanuel in front of the congregation. The church erupts in chaos as the truth begins to unravel. The confrontation with Father Emmanuel sends shockwaves through the church. The once revered priest stands frozen, his face a mixture of anger and disbelief. Zara's voice trembles, but she stands her ground, no longer afraid to speak the truth. The congregation is split. Some support Zara, while others defend Father Emmanuel, unable to believe the accusations. The tension is palpable as church leaders demand an explanation. Father Emmanuel denies everything, claiming that Zara is fabricating the story to ruin his reputation. As the days pass, Father Emmanuel's influence begins to turn the church community against Zara. He uses his position to discredit her, painting her as a troubled girl seeking attention. Zara feels isolated, but Amaka's unwavering support keeps her grounded. Zara's family is torn apart by the scandal. Her mother, a devout churchgoer, struggles to reconcile the man she once trusted with the truth of his actions. Zara's father, however, demands they seek legal action. Zara, though emotionally drained, begins to gather the courage to pursue legal action. She meets with a lawyer who specializes in sexual assault cases. The lawyer advises her to find more victims to strengthen the case. Zara's heart aches as she reaches out to the other women who were hurt by Father Emmanuel. The journey is long and painful, but slowly, more women come forward, sharing their stories. The strength of their collective voices gives Zara the courage to keep moving forward. The court case against Father Emmanuel begins, and the tension is unbearable. The church community is divided, with some rallying behind Zara and others supporting Father Emmanuel. Zara takes the stand, her voice steady but filled with emotion as she recounts her harrowing experience. Father Emmanuel's defense team tries to discredit her, suggesting that she is seeking revenge for personal reasons. But the evidence begins to stack against him, and the walls around his lies start to crumble. As the trial continues, more shocking details about Father Emmanuel's past emerge. It turns out that he has been involved in similar cases in other cities, but his status and power kept him untouchable. The media picks up the story, turning Father Emmanuel into a symbol of corruption within the church. Zara struggles with the public attention, but she refuses to back down. She knows that her courage is not just for her own healing, but for all the other women who have suffered in silence. In a climactic moment during the trial, one of Father Emmanuel's former victims, another young woman from the church, takes the stand. Her testimony is raw and emotional, recounting the horrors she endured at his hands. Zara watches as the woman speaks, and a sense of solidarity fills her heart. Together, they stand against the man who once held all the power. The jury listens intently, and it becomes clear that Father Emmanuel's reign of manipulation is nearing its end. The jury deliberates for hours, and the tension in the courtroom is suffocating. Zara sits quietly, her hands trembling as she waits for the verdict. Finally, the judge announces the decision. Father Emmanuel is guilty on all counts. The courtroom erupts in a mix of cheers and gasps. Father Emmanuel's supporters are devastated, while Zara and the other victims feel a bittersweet sense of justice. Though the trial is over, the scars of the experience will remain. With Father Emmanuel sentenced to prison, Zara begins the long journey of healing. She attends therapy and finds strength in her community of survivors. Zara's relationship with her family is strained, but over time, her mother begins to understand the gravity of the situation. Zara starts a support group for other young women who have faced similar abuse. Her faith in humanity is restored as she watches these women heal and find strength in one another. Zara decides to leave Benin for a while to start fresh. She enrolls in nursing school, finally pursuing the dream she once thought was impossible. Though the memories of her past will never fade, Zara is determined to rebuild her life. In nursing school, she finds new purpose and meets people who support her journey. Zara realizes that while her past will always be a part of her, it no longer defines her. Zara's journey leads her back to faith, but this time, it's different. She no longer seeks refuge in the church that betrayed her, but in a personal, quiet relationship with God. Zara finds peace in knowing that her healing is not dependent on any institution, but on her own strength. Her new faith becomes a foundation for her future, one built on resilience, love, and a renewed sense of self. After completing her studies, Zara returns to Benin, not as the broken girl who left, but as a strong, independent woman. Her family welcomes her back with open arms, and Zara slowly rebuilds her relationship with her mother, who now fully understands the depth of Zara's trauma. Zara becomes an advocate for survivors of sexual abuse, speaking at conferences and helping to raise awareness about the issue. Father Emmanuel's prison sentence becomes a public spectacle. His supporters continue to protest his innocence, but the truth cannot be denied. Zara receives letters from other survivors, many of whom thank her for giving them the courage to speak out. The church is forced to confront the deep-seated issues within its own ranks, and a wave of reform begins to take place. Though it's a slow process, Zara's bravery has sparked change. Zara's story becomes an inspiration for many. Her name is synonymous with courage, and she is hailed as a symbol of resilience. She starts a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting victims of abuse, ensuring that no one has to suffer in silence. Her work touches lives across the country, and Zara realizes that she has become part of something much bigger than herself. Years pass, and Zara's nonprofit flourishes. She is invited to speak at a major conference on sexual abuse prevention, where she meets other influential figures in the field. However, just as she begins to feel at peace with her past, an unexpected encounter shakes her. While walking through the hotel lobby, Zara runs into a man who claims to have been one of Father Emmanuel's former associates. He hints that Father Emmanuel may have had powerful allies in the church who are still working to undermine Zara's progress. This revelation unsettles Zara, but she resolves to continue her mission, undeterred by the shadows of the past. Zara digs deeper into the suggestion that Father Emmanuel had allies who protected him for years. She uncovers hidden records, confidential meetings, and whispers of corruption that run deeper than she could have imagined. Determined to expose the truth, Zara finds herself entangled in a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Her every move is watched, and she begins receiving anonymous threats. Despite the growing risks, Zara refuses to back down, understanding that her work is bigger than her fear. The pressure mounts as Zara gathers irrefutable evidence of the corruption within the church. With the help of a journalist, she plans to release the findings to the public. However, the night before the expose is scheduled to drop, she receives a cryptic phone call. The voice on the other end warns her to stop or face consequences far worse than she can imagine. For the first time in years, Zara feels the weight of the threat, but she steels herself. She knows that her silence could mean more victims, and she won't let that happen. In a daring move, Zara goes public with the information, forcing the church to reckon with its dark secrets. The response is overwhelming. Some people rally behind her, while others lash out, furious at the scandal she has uncovered. The fallout from Zara's revelations is immediate. Public opinion is split, with some supporting her brave actions and others condemning her for tarnishing the reputation of the church. The media is relentless, and Zara finds herself under intense scrutiny. Yet amid the chaos, Zara's resolve only strengthens. She continues to speak out, advocating for justice, transparency, and the protection of vulnerable individuals. Slowly, the public begins to recognize the truth, and the church starts to implement reforms to prevent further abuse. Zara's nonprofit continues to thrive, and she becomes a leading voice in the movement to protect the rights of abuse survivors. Zara stands at the podium of a national conference on sexual abuse, now a recognized advocate and a symbol of courage. The scars of her past still remain, but she has transformed them into a source of strength. As she addresses the crowd, she speaks of the importance of speaking up, of standing for what is right, even when the world tries to silence you. She tells the story of how a young girl from Benin found her voice, and in doing so, gave others the courage to find theirs. Zara's journey is far from over, but she has made peace with her past and is determined to continue fighting for justice. Her legacy is one of resilience, healing, and empowerment. The story of Zara is one of transformation. how a young girl, shattered by betrayal, found the strength to rise above her circumstances and make a difference in the world. It teaches us that the path to healing may be long and difficult, but it is never impossible. Zara's courage reminds us that speaking out against injustice, no matter the cost, can bring about real change. The lesson is clear. Never let fear or shame silence your voice. Your story, your truth, can change the world. Hi besties. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end of Zara's powerful journey. I hope her story resonated with you and gave you a glimpse of strength and resilience in the face of unimaginable challenges. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like Zara's? How did it make you feel, and how did you handle it? If you're comfortable, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to know how you navigated tough times and what advice you'd give others who might be going through something similar. To everyone out there, always remember, you are never alone. Your voice matters, your truth matters, and you have the power to overcome anything that stands in your way. Don't be afraid to seek help, speak up, and stand up for yourself. Healing may take time, but your strength will carry you through. Thank you for stopping by and watching this amazing story unfold. I'm so grateful for each of you who takes the time to watch, comment, and share your support. I will see you in our next video. Bye.